Welcome back to the channel, guys. I'm your host, Buckning, and today we're gonna go through 2022 dividends payouts for all the year of 2022. How many times can I say 2022 in this one? Is 2023? Who knows? We'll find out. So if you're new to the channel, welcome. This is where we put $100 a week into a tax-free savings account to build a dividend portfolio right in front of your eyes. If you're not new, welcome back. So I'll pop it up on the screen here and we'll go through the chart as quickly as humanly possible, however you want to say it. And then we'll talk about kind of setting your financial goals in a way that actually makes sense, because if you don't have a plan in place, then you just kind of plan to fail. And so we'll just get right into it. So here we go. So as you can see on the screen, year-over-year growth from dividends. Last year, in 2021, not last year, 2 years ago in 2021, we received $202.43 in dividends. This year, we've received $445.63 in dividends, which means this year, as you can see, is 120% growth, okay? That's averaging everything out. The biggest month we had in 2022, the MVP, was March 2022 with 271% growth that year, coming in a hard second in January at 242%. And if we look at June, coming in at 216% growth year over year. Our worst performing month, but not really worst, was November with 17% growth. So it just shows you year over year what we received from 2021 to 2022. This year we've had 120% growth, and that means we're heading in the right direction. Now, some people might be thinking, oh, $445 isn't much in dividends for the amount that's invested. Wrong. That is completely wrong. It is a broken mindset in the sense where let's think about it at a hourly rate, okay? So if it's $445.63, how many hours at your job do you have to work to get that money, right? That's the way I look at dividends. Dividends give me a future option to no longer contribute those hours to a company, to another person, but to myself, right? So when we do that, we have the ability to have choice. Okay, so when it comes to setting financial goals, we'll just get right into it. Good segue into that. When you're setting financial goals, you have to track your spending. If you don't have a budget in the year 2023, I think you won't succeed at anything. That is just on the financial side. If you have goals for other things like health and other things, that's a totally different topic. I'm talking about your financial goals, and please don't call them resolutions. I just hate that word. They're goals. They're financial goals. Get a budget together. Figure out what your income is, cash flow. Figure out what your expenses are. Figure out what you need to prioritize, whether that's debt repayment, saving money, or actually investing. Okay, and once you do that and you've tracked all your spending, you should know how much you spend in gas per year, how much you spend on food per year, eating out per year, and so on and so forth. If you don't know those numbers, I suggest that you track those things. To give you an example, the amount of money I spent on eating out at restaurants, fast food altogether was a total of $5,000. No, that's rounding down a little bit, but just to make it math easy sake, $5,000 for the year. The amount of money I spent on gas in traveling, in driving around, was $7,000. That's rounding up. Okay, the amount that I invested in this portfolio alone, in this dividend TFSA portfolio, was $6,425. You have to know these numbers. If you don't know these numbers, now, well, actually, I'll correct that. $6,425 or 75, give or take $50. But not to the T, just know how much you're spending. Know where you can cut down your spending and have targets. If you don't know what your original amount was previous year, let's say the amount of dividends you earned, the amount of money you spent on this category or that category, and you go into 2023 to set financial goals, how do you know what to cut? How do you know what to increase, like your savings rate, and so on and so forth? You have to know these numbers because typically numbers do not lie. So do that first. Start a budget, track your expenses. everything. Track absolutely everything, because then it gives you the data and the financial picture of where you stand today, so you can set goals that are attainable, that are in reach of what your income is, okay? So that's pretty much it. But again, even though it's only $445, that's 120% growth. When you look at a company and you see 120% growth, that is a company that you probably want to look into and see what they're doing correctly to have year over year growth. Because believe it or not, companies report on a quarterly basis. For some reason, when companies miss their targets, the stock price drops. But when they hit targets, for the most part, I know there's some in 2022 that hit targets or even beat their expected earnings, and the stock price just dropped. But we're in a weird market right now. But anyways, 120% growth in a company, you're going to look into that. You're going to find out what they're doing correctly to see that growth. And we want to continue to see growth. So come all the month of January 2023, my goal is to make sure we at least hit 100%, 120, 140% above last year's goal of 2022, and beat and just rock that number out of the water and have continued growth year over year, so that in the future, I, myself, can have the choice to do what I want and not trade my time no longer for the ultimate thing of a paycheck. Let's think about $445. Again, if you're working at like a minimum wage job, depending on the province, that's half a paycheck, okay? So in a year, I've earned half a paycheck working a minimum wage job. And that is more valuable to me than just putting the value of $445 on there. That's the hours I will bank for the future, and so on and so forth. So that's pretty much it for the video, guys. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, and stay tuned for a bunch of shorts. We're going to talk about a lot of things. So have a great week, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.